and this is my father.
Wow.
When he was a very poor man. He was raised in the farm between 8 brothers and sisters, and my grandmother was a school teacher, and my grandfather he was a farmer, and they were all
Wow.
forced to leave the countryside because of the political violence that were happening at the time. And this picture was taken in La Catedral prison. This is what I just used to call my home, because it's
Of course.
prison, but we felt like home because it was the only time and opportunity that we have to have some time together with my father and all the family at the same time. So, and this is the kind of luxury we were used to it, and this is why I wrote below that just 5 minutes of joy, because you see those images and you say, oh, why? I want to be part of it. I want to enjoy this. And you think that this lasts for many years. And this was only 5 minutes if you compare this to a whole life. Even if in the piñata, you can see, I have to perhaps to zoom in and to show even a bigger picture of the piñata, but you will see the dollars falling off the piñata.
I see them.
So the adults were there, the kids were supposed to be there, not the adults, but everybody was like, I want a piece of it, so it's a very awkward situation. The famous picture of
that's a very famous
United
picture.
States, because it was a very, my father was, I don't know what he felt about this picture, but I believe this picture represents and tell you how welcome he was in the United States.
Absolutely.
Can be, just some meters away from the White House. So in that time, nobody was paying attention. He could do whatever he wanted, and he was most welcome in the United States. And he always has the same picture frame in every place he went. He was like so proud of that, this picture. Yes, man, we have been, sharing my thoughts and experiences with the youngest audiences. And in most of the times, we receive very good feedback from them. They truly receive the message that I deliver to them in the best way possible, in good faith. And they are, they are willing to know what happened really with my father's stories, with my experiences, and for me, it's about taking responsibility and how to tell those stories to the public, but without glorifying my father's criminal activities. So for me, that's the most important thing to do, and without losing and disrespecting, the victims. That's for me very, very important.
Absolutely. When was the last time you was in Colombia?
Well, man, I was this year. Actually, I came from Colombia by the end of March. So, I think I got the last airplane.
Wow.
Because
very lucky.
all the airports were closing. Yes, man, it was. They almost didn't allow me to travel because we are Colombian, but I demonstrate to the authorities that I was, a permanent resident here in Argentina. So I have my family here and my right to come to where is my home place. But, it was a very difficult situation. At the last minute, I had to buy another plane ticket just to take the last plane available. So for me, it was like very, a very hard situation. Imagine if I stayed in Colombia, it'll be like 4 months without seeing my son and my wife and my mother.
Very long time.
Yeah, a lot
do you
of
miss
people.
the hacienda?
Excuse me?
Do you miss the hacienda Nápoles?
Well, I miss the good moments we lived.
Yeah.
But it's like a mix of feelings. When you talk about the hacienda with me, it's like a mix of feelings because, of course, I have very good memories there with my friends and my family and my father, and at the same time, I have bad memories because of the police operations and the attacks from the enemies of my father. So it's a mix of, and at the same time, it used to be my home in a
Of
way.
course. Yeah.
And also, it's like now when I have the opportunity to visit my what it was my own place, they wanted to charge me for the entrance, so I feel like I don't want to pay for that, you
Of
know.
course, of course. It's now
Yeah.
a tourist. It's a tourist attraction, right?
Yes, yes. You can find like 5 different hotels from 1 star to 5 stars hotel, and also it's like an amusement park at the same time, and they also have a maximum security prison in the same place. So it's very awkward. It's like
Yeah.
you don't understand very well. It's like, okay, there's a prison, but now this is the hippos, and you can enjoy them, and it's like you don't
So
understand very
if
well
you
what
want to experience Colombia, go to Medellin, right? Because
yeah.
everything.
Medellin is one of the most beautiful cities of my country for sure, man. And it's before the COVID situation, you were amazed how many tourists you could see in the streets in Medellin city. It's something very, very unique, and people enjoying a lot. Different nationalities, people coming
Mhm.
from all over the world for different reasons. So, and
Do
of
you think
course,
any of that has anything to do with your father?
well, yes, it's been quite a. My father has been very famous for the last decades. Everybody knows that. So it's in a way unstoppable. It's like something you can't deal with that. But it's not the only thing to see.
Of course.
Colombia and our city and our country has many many attractions and many good things to do. But let's say that the TV series and everything that happened recently make the people aware of the who was Pablo Escobar, or at least who they thought he was. So, and that brings the attention of a lot of people, a lot of tourism. And I'm not against that, but a lot of politicians are against that. But I think that
Of course.
as long as we tell the story in a responsible way and we don't encourage others to follow my father's examples, I think that no country should deny his own story.
Of course.
And so
Yeah.
because what's the point to do that? We have to learn from our own story so we don't repeat it in the future. It's not about denial, it's about accepting the truth and moving forward and doing something about it.
I
So
guess you're making good of a bad situation.
yes, man, it's like, okay, sadly it happened, but okay, we have the experience, we don't want this to happen again, so let's move forward. And of course, if they can use this in a responsible way, they can take a lot of advantage, in financial and economical results for the good of the people, the local ones. So I think if it is, understood and used in a responsible way, I have nothing against that. Of course, some other tourist guides, they are using my father name just in the wrong way.
Yeah.
So, and I understand these brothers and some other people, some victims and politicians, they take advantage of that.
Mm-hmm. When did you decide to do your first show with people? What was it that made you want to go out there and just speak to these people?
Well, man, if you ask me, I never thought I was going to do such a thing in my whole life, because it was supposed that I was very shy, and I didn't want to talk in public and I feel afraid of it. But, it's look where I am now. But the first experience was in Mexico City. I was invited to participate in a TED event, so it was my first experience, and it was very hard because they told me you have 18 minutes to tell the most important thing in your whole life. So I said, "Oh wow," I had not too much time to explain, but I think I learned and I want to say about life. But it was a great challenge for me that really pushed me and make me think deeply about the real meaning of just having the opportunity, the curse, and whatever you want to see it, but of just experience this kind of life. Just not only being the son of, but also, overcome that situation and that reality. So for me, it was a great experience, and it was my first time in front of 300 people.
Wow.
And it was a very awkward scenario because, it was like a round place, and so everybody was surrounding me 360 degrees. So I was like always turning in the same point, but I remember it was the first time, but since then I never stopped. So that's
it gets
how I
easier.
got. Yeah, it's easier today. I have more experience. I am more relaxed. At the beginning I was like very like tense. You could see it, but and also very afraid of, because
Well, you don't know what reaction you're going to get from these people. Are they going to
yes,
take this good?
absolutely. And you are also putting your life in danger, because if you miss a single word, it can change a whole sentence, and it can be, feel like in a different way. So for me, I felt a lot of fear, just because, I'm going to say this, and I hope you're going to understand what I mean. So a lot of people died in the past just because they
Just for
couldn't.
saying the wrong thing.
Yeah. So it was a unique moment for me. But after that moment, I felt comfortable and with more experience, and after I started to see the effect, in every single teenager who approach to me and they thank me for just sharing my story, showing them that that's not the path for them. Also, when I started to realize that I was inviting them not to follow my father's footsteps, and also to be responsible about their own stories, about their own life, and about the consequences of being, committed to their lives. I felt much better than anyone, because I felt that with a story that is very negative, I am doing a lot of good and positive things. And that's very hard to achieve, very hard, because there's a lot of violence in my father's life, for sure. And so it's difficult to find something positive from it.
Also, I've seen, obviously, you've visited schools, colleges, and stuff like this, and I'm sure these guys are so young, they perhaps don't understand exactly what's happening, but to get them at such a young age and give them this information, it just must be a good thing.
Yeah, man, because I explained to them, you don't have to experience the same things that I experienced in the past just to learn the same lessons. I'm giving this to you for free. Just pay attention and try something else, because it's not going to work. It's like my father tried it, and all of his friends and everybody's dead. So please, what's the thing that make you feel and believe that you're going to do it and you're going to get away with it? Come on, just think about it. And this is not a place for you. This is not a story to use in a irresponsible way. So it's very good when they approach to you and they said, thanks to this lecture, thanks to this moment, I changed my mind. I thought that, following your father dreams was the best thing that could happen to my life. And because they see my father as a successful case,
A hero or
and I'm
something.
saying, look, he was my father. I love him very much. He gave me a lot of love. That's true. But not because he had a lot of money was a successful man, because what's the point of being successful? What's success for you? For me, success is something that you can truly enjoy. Because if you have a lot of money, but you are not free and you're starving, even worse. You know,
You're a poor
first
man.
you have to be
If you
poor.
like this.
Yeah, you're the richest and the poorest at the same time. That's something very crazy, but really happened to my father. You know, he had a lot of money, but he was starving. You know, he wasn't living in the same mansions that you can find him. You know, Narcos. You know, in this TV series, didn't happen
Yes.
that way. It was truly. I was visiting this guy, my father, every single weekend, and at the same time, you know, the Forbes magazine was saying that he was the 10th richest man in the world, whatever, but he was living like the poorest.
The
So
poorest.
you know what's going on.
Unbelievable.
So we learn a lot from that, and because we respect the story, and because we pay attention to what happened to us, our family, our father, and we took responsibility for that. And it's something very difficult to start doing, because you know you requires a lot of responsibility to say, okay, I'm very sorry for what happened, and this is what we learned from the past, and so we have to move forward. And so it's difficult to find a balance between the love and the respect that I feel for my father, and the respect that I should show to his victims too.
Of course. Yeah. How was it when you got recognized for the World Ambassador of Peace? Was that? Did you ever think you would ever get this, or?
Never in my life, man. Never in my life, and even less in this moment of my life. You know, because you know, you expect many things. I was supposed to be dead already since the age of 16. So everything that I'm experiencing today is something new, and I'm feeling very grateful for this. And this experience is, you know, it's a way of somebody saw that I was doing something good for humanity or for our country, whatever. But it's a very good what would be the word for that in English? Acknowledgement.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, for me it was like somebody pay attention to what I was doing, and so they gave me this recognition and this responsibility too, because it is also a big responsibility, and that really bring me a lot of hope. And you know, the situation, the good story behind this is that the one who recommended me to be an ambassador for peace was the son of the Cali Cartel, you know. So
Okay, Rodriguez.
yes, William Rodríguez was the guy who said to this organization, you should name Sebastián as an ambassador of peace. And I was very surprised, you know, because we were supposed to be enemies, just because of my father's and our father's fight. So, but instead of, you know, fighting each other, we choose peace, we choose dialogue, we choose forgiveness and reconciliation. So that's a very good thing to show and to share to the public, because imagine, who could ever thought that, you know, the son of the Cali Cartel and at the same time the son of the Medellin Cartel, instead of killing each other, they are willing to make peace and to show to the world that there's no point to follow our father's example. So that's not only my father's case, but also his father's.
Yeah.
And his father's
I think
still
it's a
alive.
very powerful. Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And he's in jail in the United States.
Wow.
He's convicted for 30 years in prison. And if he got out, he will be out like by the age of, I don't know, 90 years old, something like that. So imagine. So what the conclusion is, our fathers, sadly, just because they wanted power, money, and everything, they lose control of their lives, you know, and the power and the money they achieve, you know, took control of their lives and destroyed them without thinking, you know, just in a second. So
I guess it's a powerful message to say to anybody, if Juan Pablo Escobar or William Rodriguez can finish this, or you know, make good of this bad situation, that anybody can.
Yes, imagine, man, it's like against all odds, you know, against everybody.
Against all odds, completely.
Yeah, Totally. So it's a miracle that it's happening, and
Absolutely.
I'm very grateful. And I have uh, good communication with him in in a almost in a daily basis. With a lot of
Very good.
respect, and we have learned that we can do better things together than just fighting each other. There's no point to continue to this circle of hate, because nobody can get out of that. And we have to stop this for our families, for our countries. So that's how after he watched the documentary scenes of my father, he got like very touched and convinced that he should do something. And so finally we had the opportunity to meet each other. But the situation is this: he's not allowed to leave the United States, and I'm not allowed to go in. So
Okay.
like everything happened
Is a
between,
friction.
yeah, the video conference. So it's like thanks to that we could make peace and stay like as close as possible. So we're trying to find a way to see each other and to give us a hug somewhere in the border between the United States border and the Mexican border.
You
That's the
stand on
idea.
one side and William stand on the other side,
Yeah,
right?
that's the idea, man. That's the idea. So we can be as close as possible, and I don't know, perhaps we could find a spot, a neutral spot where we can give us a hug and show to the world that we have to leave the past where it is,
Mm-hmm.
and don't bring it in front of you all the time. And because of course if you look at our stories, we have lots of excuses, to hate and to kill each other, but that's not the
It's not the right
purpose of
way.
this life. We have to be better human beings, and it is also our commitment with our generation and with our sons and daughters. So it's something that really excites me, because not also the peace that I made with him, but also with many other victims of my father. More than 150 families so far. We've
Brilliant.
been talking, and with 100% of success rate. It's that's quite a lot.
I guess they never thought that the son of Pablo Escobar would ever come back to them and do such a nice thing.
Never, man. And when my father was alive, and we were discussing a lot about his own violence, because I was just trying to make him stop.
When we wake up in the morning, we get out of bed and we start our day with Coro Snacks. Coro is a healthy snacks brand focusing on bringing additive-free, natural ingredients to their customers with fair prices in bulk packaging. They have everything from nut butters to free from baking ingredients to cooking essentials, and of course the snacks. Oh, these Syrian pumpkin seeds from Coro are amazing. I have them on my cheese on toast every morning. You've been getting into them, Jen?
Yes, and all the health benefits it brings.
Lashings of them.
Right. Pop this in the oven then.
So what makes Coro special in comparison to others? Coro cares about sustainability. Their bulk packs save on packaging material compared to small single packs. For a 5% discount on Coro's products, use the code TRUECRIME with no space in between true and crime. The link to Coro's online shop is in the description box on YouTube. Thanks for supporting our sponsor.
In many ways, I was asking him, please don't put more bombs. It's like, you're crazy. What are you doing? You're just killing innocent people that never hurt you or me. So what are you doing? So of course we have several discussions, and that gave me the opportunity to be clear with my father about my thoughts, about what I thought about his violence. So we had the opportunity to discuss this, but he was a man determined, to do whatever he wanted. Sadly, he wasn't paying attention to anyone. He was just listening to me, and just a few times, perhaps he paid some attention, but he was
Maybe he
making
was
his own
lost.
stuff.
He was so focused, so much
Yeah.
and too much power that he just probably couldn't change.
Yeah, I was a man who was, he thought he was, he could have more power than anyone. He was willing to be the next president of Colombia, but he told me once that he understood that there's some people that they even can have more power than the president. So,
Absolutely.
and he became that kind of person. In some part of his stories, I was seeing him, writing letters to the president, and the next day, the president was doing what he asked. So
Yeah, that's
so he
unbelievable.
was, dealing with power at that time, the 80s.
What was your view on Narcos when you first heard about it coming out? What did you think?
Well, Narcos, the TV series, man. Well,